So what was our time like living in North Macedonia as slow travelers? Well, we're going to talk about that, both traveling from Albania into Macedonia, traveling by bus throughout Macedonia,
and also living in Ohrid and Skopje.
Welcome to the Nomadic Abundance podcast, where we provide slow travel tips as well as inspiration for living a more abundant life by traveling abroad.
We're Joel and Michelle, the Wandering Hartz, and we've been traveling full-time since 2019. We're on a mission to help you incorporate slow or full-time travel into your work or retirement for a more abundant lifestyle.
So if you've been following along with our travels, you'll know that we spent over 2 months living in Tirana, Albania. And at the end of our time in Albania, we actually were in Tirana for a few days. And from there, we decided to make the hop onto another country, which is a new one for us, and that was North Macedonia.
So after our stay in Tirana, we booked a bus to Ohrid in North Macedonia. And there's a couple ways you can do that. We actually booked through a Eurobus.
Mm-hmm.
There is a Flixbus as well that you can get. And so to get to the bus station in Tirana, we had to go to the East Lindor, right?
Yeah, so the East Lindor, or Terminali East, Terminali Lindor, as it was called. So it's the East Terminal for the bus station. But the thing about the East bus station is it's actually, if you look on a map, it's in the south part of the city, but it serves the eastern portion. So all the eastern routes is why they call it that. So it was a little bit confusing. I know we had some friends that ended up having some trouble getting from one bus station to the next. Also, you can buy tickets at the bus station as well. Mm-hmm. But if we can, we always try to get them online ahead of time, just in case, a bus fills up or whatever. In this case, though, it didn't fill up, so we could have just bought them at the station.
Yeah, it was fine. And then once we got to the state, we used the taxi app.
Yes.
Right, in Tirana.
Yeah, so there's a couple of different ways you can get there. I think it's like, if you want to go by bus, I think you take the L8 or the L12 bus, and I think it's like 40 dinar to get down there. Or you can take a taxi. What?
Lek.
Oh, 40 lek. That's right. That's Albania. But you can take a taxi as well. We usually like to take a taxi if there's an app involved or a ride share. Mm-hmm. And I think we end up using Mare Taxi is the app that we used. And from the central part of Tirana, which is where we were staying, in like the Blaku region or area.
Neighborhood.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And we actually have if you want to see our accommodations there, we actually have a video you can check out too. But yeah, that was like 11 US, about 10,000, I think it was 1,000 lek to get down there. So you might be able to do a little better than that, but it was super convenient. So
yeah, and then once we got to the bus station, we did check in at the counter, and we had to pay €1?
I think it was €1 each.
Tax, I think, to leave.
From what we can tell, we think it's some kind of a station tax or something like that. So it was in addition to having our ticket already online.
Right. Yeah. So that was pretty easy. Mm-hmm. And then we just got on the bus. It was actually a minibus this time, so it wasn't a full coach bus, but it was fine because it wasn't full. So there was only maybe a couple of people.
Yeah, maybe 4 or 5 people total, I think, on them. Or 4 or 5 outside of us on the bus. Yeah,
so it was pretty comfortable. It was a little hot. It wasn't a ton of air conditioning, but it was fine. And it was a 3-hour ride?
Yeah, I think it was 3 hours.
To Ohrid?
Yeah, to Ohrid.
And we had one stop.
Yeah, so the nice thing is, if you're concerned about that, they always, all the buses we've traveled, they generally have at least one stop built in, and where you could use the restroom, get a little snack or whatever.
Yeah.
So that made it really nice and convenient.
Yeah.
So, and then we talked the border crossing?
Yeah, we had a border crossing, which was actually super easy. We just got out of the bus and they looked at our passports, and I think that's about it, right?
Yeah, there wasn't much. For some reason, like going from Albania into Macedonia was yeah, it was just that. Just we got there, and then within 15 minutes, we had actually all gotten out of the bus, showed our passports, and then had moved on.
Yeah. So that was actually really, really easy stop for us.
Yeah. And one thing is we had some issues with data connectivity with our phones traveling there. And it just, it's the border. And also the border's like it's on the, like a ridge of a mountain. So I think that also had an effect on it. But you actually were able to connect pretty easily.
Yeah. Yeah, it was fine.
You never lost connectivity the whole time?
I think
or
so.
Just for a few minutes?
Yeah.
Mine wasn't as easy. So, because I was switching from Albania to Macedonia with our eSIM, and it took a minute. It took like about 15, I think it was about 15 minutes once we got past into Macedonia before my eSIM finally started hitting the cell towers and everything like that. So once that happened, it worked out pretty good.
Yeah.
We actually talked about this whole our experience here in our newsletter. So if you haven't subscribed to that, you can check that out. We have like little tips as well about like some of the travels. Like some of it's like travel report, and then we have some other articles and things like that that are interesting for people who are trying to slow travel.
Yeah, so you can just scan the QR code up on the screen and sign up.
So next we'll talk about like the bus ride itself. Other than that, it was pretty uneventful. It was really beautiful though. We highly recommend if you can travel by bus. It is a really wonderful way to see more of the countryside. It was kind of cool because when we're coming in, you come in on one side of the lake, of Lake Ohrid, and you end up kind of going all the way around, like halfway around the lake to get to the other side where the town of Ohrid is. So
yeah, it was really pretty.
Yeah, and so when we got there, it was pretty easy. There's a bus station that was it looks like it's fairly new. They've redone it. It's not huge, but it's convenient. It's like a cafe there. There's
in Ohrid.
In Ohrid.
Yeah, I thought it was nice and clean. And like you said, it looked like it was new or had maybe been refurbished. There was even a hostel attached to it. Oh,
that's right. Yeah, like above it. So,
yeah.
Which we didn't realize until we were leaving, but
yeah.
That might be an option if you're backpacking or something like that.
Yeah. So yeah, we got to the bus station. It was super easy. And our Airbnb host actually met us immediately, like right at the bus. We were getting our luggage out and he came right up to us and took our bags and actually took us to the apartment, which was really nice. I don't think ever had that happen before. So.
Yeah, no, that was the first for us. But yeah, he was a super nice guy and was super excited to like welcome us into the country. And of course, that's another thing that we enjoyed. We talked about it in our pros and cons of North Macedonia video. But like just how friendly the people are, and his hospitality was also really cool too. He kind of gave us some pointers, while we were getting settled in, which was really nice.
Yeah. Yeah. It kind of showed us around a little bit as we were driving to the apartment, and then gave us like a full kind of tour of our place. So yeah, that was nice.
So we'll actually have a tour of our place coming up in a video coming up soon. So if you're watching this now, you'll see it in a week or two. And if you're not, then it's already going to be there. So you can go check our channel out and see what our apartment was like. Yeah. Okay, so now we're going to talk a little bit about like our time in Ohrid. So as you know, if you may not know, but we are basically slow travelers. We create content. So we have this YouTube channel as well as some websites. So we're always working wherever we go, which might be a little different experience for someone who might be retired. Or maybe like on a sabbatical or something like that. So whenever we go somewhere, it always takes us usually takes us a week or two to kind of get settled into a new place and kind of get the lay of the land and all that. And one really nice thing about Ohrid was we both realized as soon as we got there, we instantly like felt at home. Like it was just like comfortable, which was not something that we normally get. Like when we got to Saranda, like the first time, it was like we were just like felt so out of place. But for whatever reason, Ohrid just felt super comfortable to us, and that was really nice.
Yeah, I think so. For whatever reason, it has a nice kind of laid back vibe, even though it is probably pretty touristy. It's a resort town, but there weren't really actually a lot of tourists.
Yeah,
And
this was June. So.
Yeah, it was very easy to get around. It's super walkable. There's tons of bike paths that we were really surprised to see. Like lots of people were biking everywhere. The town was quiet. Our neighborhood was nice and quiet as well.
Yeah, that was nice. So, and you know, they have like a pretty good. It seemed like a really, at least a bus system, which is something you don't have. An easier bus system to navigate than like our experience in Albania. So that was a nice thing.
Yeah.
The only thing I would say that one mistake we did make was kind of breaking our golden rule, and that is usually booking accommodations for at least a month. And for whatever reason, I'm trying to remember what it was.
This was our biggest mistake.
Yeah, we ended up booking for about 2 weeks, and so because of that, we did not get any kind of discount at all on our stay. So we found out we probably could have stayed for a month for a tiny bit more than the price that we paid for the 2 weeks. But I think part of that was we weren't really certain. Well, I think originally it's because we left on the beginning of this trip here, 2024 trip, we were actually supposed to leave 2 weeks earlier than we actually ended up leaving. And so that ended up kind of cutting into some of our time.
Yeah.
Because we had to be in Bulgaria at the beginning of July. So that's kind of what happened there.
I think that, looking back, I think that is why. Because we had a whole bunch of friends that were going to be in Bulgaria that we needed to see before they moved on. So we only ended up booking for 2 weeks. And we won't do that again.
Oh, yeah.
Because like we said, we're working and traveling at the same time. So a month for us usually flies by.
Yeah.
Even if we, don't particularly like the place that we're in, it's fine because it goes by so fast.
Yeah. I mean, one other thing too is that we had heard mixed reviews. I mean, after already deciding to go to North Macedonia, we had heard mixed reviews from people that we had met along the road. Where they were, they liked it or they didn't like it. So again, that kind of put a little bit of doubt in our minds on our way there. But I mean, we were really pleasantly surprised.
Oh yeah, we ended up loving it.
Yeah, absolutely. And like start talking about like settling in. So for us, it was really easy for us to settle in there, which is what we're trying to get back. I was trying to say earlier, is that we were able to get into kind of like our work-life balance really fast, which was kind of crazy because normally that, like I said, it takes us like 2 weeks to do that. Well, we were kind of settled in within just a couple of days. Yeah. And for whatever reason, something clicked for us there. So and including like we even had a gym lined up so we could kind of like get our workouts on and everything like that. And actually the gym was pretty cool. It was like this old Yugoslav gym. Like he said, the owner was a really nice guy. He'd been, I guess he started the gym 45 years ago, and I mean, it kind of looked like it. It's got lots of like kind of old equipment, but all stuff that works. If you're like you like working out like with weights and stuff like I do, then it's a pretty good place. I enjoyed it, and it was really affordable. Yeah. So I think we spent $33 US for the both of us for the month. And it was just cheaper to buy the month rate than it was for just, the week rate. And so that was one thing that was really nice about our time in Ohrid.
There was also tons of restaurants that we could walk to really easy, all within like 10 or 15 minute walk. And we had 2 markets in our neighborhood, like right below our apartment, which was nice. And then there was tons of grocery stores too, with a lot of variety. Way more variety compared to Tirana, Albania. So that was nice. Like we found a grocery store that was a lot like an Aldi.
Stomac, I think.
Yeah, Stokomak.
Stokomak or something.
I'm not sure how to say that. But there's quite a few of them in Ohrid. So you'll have plenty of options. And so that was a nice kind of surprise for us. We had lots of different things that we could choose from.
Yeah. And then also just the fact that it's also very affordable. Like everything was very comparable, I think, to Tirana as well as or Albania as well as Bulgaria, which is another place we've spent some time in. So that was nice to know. And we had access to a lot more kind of Western goods that we didn't have access in Albania.
Mm-hmm.
So that was also very nice.
Yeah, for sure. So another reason that we wish we would have stayed longer, like for a month instead of 2 weeks, is there actually is a lot of things to do in Ohrid, and we only got to do like a few things, like one or two. So there's a really nice promenade that goes along the lake. There's a really cool boardwalk that you can take out to St. John's Church. This is probably the one that most people see when you think of Ohrid. And it's really, really beautiful. They have a really lovely old town that you can walk through with just lots of cafes and restaurants that look out over the water. So that was nice. What else? There's a big fortress that you can walk up to.
Oh yeah, you can't miss the fortress.
Yeah, it's actually really cool.
Yeah, it's especially cool to look at from afar.
Yeah.
But I think once you get in there, it's not a whole lot inside, but it's really, really cool. And you'll see the big flags and everything hanging or flapping in the wind. The promenade was always nice as well, because if you want to do any kind of like activities on the lake, you can walk down there and pretty much find whatever you want. You can get boat tours that will take you either swimming tours or like sunset tours, which is one that we did.
Yeah.
Like a champagne sunset tour, I think it was.
Yeah.
It was really beautiful.
Oh my gosh. We got a really, really good sunset. Like we got so lucky. It was absolutely beautiful.
Yeah.
The sunset. And it was only €10
per person.
Yeah, per person for the sunset tour. And we got included a glass of champagne. So yeah, that was nice. Something nice to do.
Yeah, and so there's other stuff too. They have, like, you'll see catamaran tour. It'll say catamaran. It's a pontoon boat. Yeah. If you're, that's what they're calling a catamaran. But if you're familiar in the States, we call those pontoon boats. But they're nice. You can get a group of people and go like swimming, or it'll take you to some of the other, like to some other beaches, like past Ohrid, like on the lake, because the town doesn't really have any beaches. There's like 2 beaches really, and they're tiny.
Yeah.
They're real small. There's one that's real close to town, like right around the board as you begin walking down the boardwalk. And then there's another one looks like a private one, which is just a little further down the boardwalk as you just below the church. Was it St. John's Church?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
And another nice thing though on that part is there's also like little like restaurants there that actually, you can get drinks and all that good stuff too. So it's a nice place to go if you just want to chill for a few hours.
Yeah. Yeah. And there's other boat tours that'll take you to a couple other things. I think it's called the Bay of Bones, which we didn't get to do. I think probably next time for sure we'll go do that. And there's also a national park too that's really close to Ohrid. I think we can go do a lot of hiking and ATV tours.
Yeah. That was something that was on my list, but I didn't get a chance to do. So again, 2 weeks and you're working every day. So you only have kind of like a few days here and there you can do that stuff. So another nice thing about our time there was actually getting a chance to meet up with some of our other nomad friends.
Oh yeah.
So we actually ended up meeting up with 2 different nomad friends who were also spending time or passing through Ohrid. And so that was really cool too. So kind of add some more people to our, country club, how many people you see in each country. So,
yeah.
So after that, when we then from there, we moved on to Skopje. And as far as like leaving and booking our ticket, we did the bus again. And this time we actually booked our ticket. I think I booked it on Get By Bus. And what I liked about this was they had a lot of options, because you can also get one through Flixbus. But the Flixbus, I think, only had like evening options. There was like 2 evening options. And so I was trying to figure out where else. And Get By had a bunch of other options as well earlier in the day, which is what we decided to do, because we wanted to get into the Skopje earlier so we had time to kind of get settled in. I think in total it was €15.50 each. So pretty reasonable. And that was for a 4-hour ride. And again, our host was nice. He dropped us off at the bus station, even offered to pay for the station tax too.
Oh yeah, that was nice.
It's another thing that we didn't realize we needed to pay the station tax there as well. But luckily that was only 40 dinar. So like 71 cents.
Yeah, it's not even $1, so it's very minimal.
Yeah. And then one other note for that is that even though we booked our tickets online, we still had to go across the street to the ticket office for the bus company, and then get a seat reservation, which didn't cost anything, but for whatever reason, we still had to get a seat reservation as well. So if you happen to be traveling through there, just a heads up.
Yeah. And the bus was nice. We actually were on a coach bus this time. Yeah. So we had AC, and it was very comfortable, and there actually wasn't that many people either on this bus to Skopje.
Yeah. And of course, again, absolutely gorgeous views while driving up to Skopje. Like, it was really nice. Pretty easy, pleasant drive.
Yeah, for sure. And I think we had one stop.
Yeah.
Just a chance to get out and get some food, actually.
Oh, there's like 2 restaurants there?
Yeah.
And a gas station.
Yeah. Yeah, so you could get out and go to the bathroom, and then I think we had about 20 minutes to get food.
Yeah. So that's a good heads up too, because we're always concerned, like, well, in these longer rides especially, is there going to be a place to stop or not?
Yeah. Because sometimes they don't stop.
No. And so then when we arrived in Skopje, talk a little bit about our first impressions of the bus station.
Yeah, the bus station in Skopje is not, it's not very nice, or at least to us, it wasn't very nice. Kind of dirty.
It was dirty.
And it seemed a little sketchy, but it's fine. It's just, there's just really aggressive taxi drivers. As soon as you get off the bus, they're like right in your face.
Literally stepping off the bus. You need a taxi? You need a taxi? And you're like, I haven't got my bag.
Yeah, they're like right up in your face. So that was a little annoying. But other than that, it was fine. You just tell them no, and then
there is a taxi stand though. So there's an actual official taxi stand you can go to. And so we always recommend doing that, because if you're going to you get scammed whenever they walk up to you. Almost every single time. They're going to overcharge you. They're, all that. So always just go to the taxi stand and get it, or use a rideshare app if one's available. We did try to use one, a global taxi, I think it was, but we weren't able to get it to it
didn't
work right for some reason.
Yeah. So anybody watching this who knows or is from North Macedonia, let us know. Are there any rideshare apps that we can use?
What do you use?
Skopje? Yeah, what do you guys use?
So outside of that, we actually just ended up walking, because our stay was only really not even less than 2 kilometers away. Yeah. So it was a pretty...
From the bus station.
From the bus station.
Yeah.
15-minute walk. But...
It was really hot. It was like 100 degrees as we were walking. So, I mean, it was fine. It was only 15 minutes, and we don't have a ton of luggage. So it was pretty easy. But yeah, by the time we got to our apartment, we were so sweaty and icky. But our host met us at the apartment as well in Skopje, which was nice, and took us up, kind of showed us around. So
yeah. And I'd say if you are traveling with more stuff, more than so we had a rolly bag, and then we carry a backpack each and a small backpack. And if you're traveling with more than that, definitely take a taxi. You'll thank yourself. The one quote I did get from one of the guys at the taxi stand was for €5, and which seems a little excessive. I mean, it's cheap. It's not that bad, but for what the prices that it should be, it was twice as much as it should be, according to the research I did ahead of time. So just FYI. Now, as far as the town, our time there, settling in, you want to talk about that?
Yeah. So our host did warn us that during our time there, that it was actually a holiday. And he said that pretty much all of the North Macedonians had gone to Greece. So it was it was a little strange.
I'm hoping it was the mountains, because it was 100 degrees there. Yeah. So I'm hoping they went somewhere cooler.
It was so hot. Yeah. There was nobody in the city. It was it was very strange. Nobody.
Yeah, it was kind of bizarre. We had if you've ever seen 28 Days Later, the movie, the zombie movie from 20-something years ago, It kind of felt like that. We're walking around and there was like nobody at all out around. You see one or
No.
two people here and there.
Yeah, like for a big city, it was a little strange, but yeah, it is what it is. It was a holiday. So a lot of things were closed, unfortunately, while we were
Yeah.
there. We did walk around the old bazaar in Skopje, which was really cool.
Mhm.
Yeah, I would love to actually go back there, but almost every single shop was closed, maybe except for a few. And then a lot of the restaurants were closed too. And it did have, we did find out too, that was because of the heat. It was so hot. Some people just,
Don't bother opening
yeah,
up.
don't bother opening up. So, I mean, I understand that. It was really warm.
Yeah. And now I forgot to mention, we did book our stay there on booking.com, which is usually our go-to for all our shorter stays.
Yeah.
And I don't remember how much we paid for it.
I think it was 190.
190. Yeah. So that's a lot higher than we like to spend, especially for a short period of time.
Yeah. For a couple nights. So,
yeah. So I don't know. And the other part was the area in town we were in. Again, we were really close to the bus station. And so that part of town wasn't the prettiest. It felt completely safe. It just very like that old communist kind of look. So it's like very concrete gray. I will say the streets were really nice. Like you had really wide streets. The sidewalks were nice and wide too, which is another thing that we didn't have in Albania, where everything was like tore up. All the sidewalks are always tore up, and they're super narrow if there was a sidewalk. So that was really nice. And of course, they do have public transportation there, pretty robust. They get the double-decker buses and everything. So there's a lot of things we did like about Skopje. But like Michelle, you're talking about the walking around the city and everything. Like, of course, you're probably familiar with all the statues.
Yeah, that was interesting to see. So all those statues were built in 2014. And yeah, I mean, they're kind of cool, to look at.
There's just a lot of statues.
A lot. It's interesting.
Yeah, it was definitely interesting. And that part of town too, apparently we've found out was hit by an earthquake. The main square area was basically hit by an earthquake. And so that's why you'll notice those buildings there are a lot more modern. Yeah. Like just some very modern looking buildings. And I think that's when they decided to put in, or shortly thereafter, they started putting all the statues and stuff in. And so it's a unique part of town. Definitely a unique town to check out. Yeah. But there's other neighborhoods too. Like some of our other friends, we also met up more friends while we were there, which is cool. When we did that, we got a chance to go to the neighborhood that they were staying in. And that was actually a really nice neighborhood. I kind of wish we had stayed over there. It's definitely more, what would you call it? Like hipstery?
Yeah. Yeah. It was closer to the zoo, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It was in the area around the zoo.
Yeah. Yeah. There was lots of nice restaurants over in that area. There was a lot more people out. We noticed over on that side instead of kind of where we were staying. Yeah. So yeah, that's all.
Yeah, there you go. And again, affordability, we found Skopje actually be also quite affordable. There wasn't really a whole lot of, prices were very reasonable. Very comparable with even Ohrid, right? Ohrid?
Yeah, I think so.
So not too much of a difference there.
No.
So and our internet was a lot faster there. So that's nice. Because we had some trouble in Ohrid. Ohrid. I keep saying it wrong. So if you're like us and you're seeking a better quality of life, maybe due to inflation, safety concerns, or just a desire for adventure and just overall better living, then we ask you to check out nomadicabundance.com.
Yeah, so we're building a growing collection of resources to help you start living a more abundant life by slow traveling abroad.
Overall, we would love to slow travel again in North Macedonia. We really enjoyed our time there. It is absolutely on our list to go back to, a country to go back to. For one thing, we wanted to stay a lot longer. And I mean, honestly, we felt like we could probably stay there 3 months, like the full 90 days that we get as U.S. citizens, which is another reason that North Macedonia, it might be put on your list if you're wanting to do this, is because it is non-Schengen. So it's a great place to kind of jump to if you've exhausted all of your Schengen time and you need just to reset that time.
Yeah, that's a huge bonus for us.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's also really, really beautiful, especially in Ohrid, and the affordability is also another pro for us.
Right.
Just the groceries and the dining out is a very affordable cost of living for us to live there.
Yeah. And then overall, we just found it really comfortable. Again, we had some more comforts than we had maybe in Albania. Way more reminiscent of the comforts that we've had when we've stayed in places like Bulgaria too. So, or even the Czech Republic for that matter. So that's another reason. So if you're interested in learning a little bit more, we actually did a pros and cons video. You can check that out. Also, be sure to like, subscribe, and follow along if you're watching this on the YouTube. We really appreciate that, and it helps the channel grow. And other than that, happy wandering.
Happy wandering.